Hi guys, it's Jess. I'm back with another video on the oil market, the fundamentals, and how I navigated my way through the market in October. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who watched my last video. I really was not expecting so many views on that. So big up everyone who watched and thanks for supporting me. It means a lot. Um, I've hopefully resolved the technical issues on the last video, and I've also popped a disclaimer down in the video description. So with all that being said, let's crack on and have a look at a snapshot of the fundamentals of the oil market in October. I kind of made a prediction in my last video that price wouldn't break 80, and it didn't. It got up to 78.76 on the Blackboard chart, retail, not futures. And also this real tug of war between global demand and Middle Eastern supply. And it did again kind of play out like that. So I'm going to talk through some notable points rather than give you the full breakdown of the month. Couple of notable weeks will be the first and the last one. So in week one, there was a 10% gain on the price of oil. That was due to mainly Iran attacking Israel and obviously the threat to supply from the region. And also Hurricane Milton tore through the Gulf of Mexico, reducing production and therefore supply, less supply on the market, price goes up. And that's exactly what happened. Week two, three, and four were rangy in their own ways. There were a couple of considerable moves, but overall they were kind of rangy. The second week, it was so bull and bear mixed news that, and price reflected that, kind of closed where we opened. Week three, it was predominantly a bearish week in terms of news, and any bullish factors really had to fight and push past. They couldn't push past any obstacles. The bearish resistance factors up there, which are global demand forecasts still being downgraded for 2025, lack of stimulus for the Chinese economy. They still haven't really released any kind of fiscal measures which suggest growth for the Chinese economy, and Libya, which is one of the points that I'm going to talk about. Last month, Libya was down here providing a level of support or lifting price up. However, this month it's kind of switched over and become a bearish factor or a factor for resistance. Why? So in September, Libya were having political issues internally. There were protests on their oil fields, which meant they couldn't produce and export about 1.8 million barrels of oil a day onto the market. And it was a supporting factor because less oil in the market means price goes up, right? However, this month, because Libya have resolved all their internal issues and they're back to full capacity, pumping out 1.8 million barrels onto the market a day, therefore that oil is back onto the market, price coming down or limiting gains. So that was Libya. Another real notable point is this week here, this drop here at market open. Sunday night last week, so that would be going into the last week of October. This was big news for the oil community, this drop here. Why did price drop $4? Because Israel attacked Iran over the weekend, but they did not attack Iran's oil infrastructure. They only targeted their military bases. So instantly, the risk premium of a few dollars that we spoke about in the last video was instantly removed from the price of oil because investors saw that move by Israel. By not attacking Iran's oil infrastructure, it kind of gave some stability to the price of oil, that the threat of supply isn't as great. Price dropped and then it continued to drop another $2, 2%, $2 the next couple of sessions. So that was essentially a 6% drop over the course of 24 hours. Price ranged and then we lifted up here. And this was quite a significant move because OPEC have announced that they're going to delay their December production. Now, I'm just going to skirt around this very quickly because it's quite a big topic, the same as something like Chinese demand. So I'm going to break it down very, very quickly. OPEC are the oil cartel. They have the market share of oil out there. And for the whole course of this year, they have been withholding barrels from the market because demand is low, demand forecasts are low. They have a lot of spare capacity, meaning there's quite a lot of oil in the ground waiting to be pulled up. But because of the state of the market, the fact that price is low, demand is low, and oversupply, so bringing more oil onto the market will bring price down further. They don't want that to happen. They want their barrels to be worth as much as possible. So they will obviously withhold barrels or bring barrels onto the market to try and kind of manipulate the price of that. So they were always going to bring back to the market in December 200,000 barrels per day and drip feed that back into the market and keep their market share. However, the way the world is, the way the demand forecasts are, meaning they are scared to put more barrels onto the market and bring price down even further. So that in a nutshell is what's going on. It has lifted price up because it means in December those 200,000 barrels a day will not be on the market, pushing price down. But that is only till January. So from a personal point of view, I should be watching the OPEC meetings to see if there's any change to that plan for January. So that's kind of how it looked. Price opened the start of the month 68.80. It closed at 71.02 on the last day of October, and that was an overall increase of 2.22%, $2.22. So how did I navigate my way through the market? Let me show you now. Once my trade chart loads, it's starting to get dark. Sorry if you can barely see me. There's been no sun in the UK for about 10 or 11 days now. Okay, so this is the same chart, just presented differently. And this is the trades that I took throughout the course of the month. It was a lot better. I'm so happy to say that because September, if you watch the video, it was quite a big losing month for me. So to be able to present some wins and some profit is fabulous. Okay, trades. First week, I didn't take any. That was mainly due, in all honesty, to the fact I was putting all my energy into making my first trade video. I didn't take any trades. Should have took the buy there. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Didn't. Move on. I'm not into the business of dwelling on trades that I didn't take. Just move on. And week 2, I didn't take any trade just because life was busy. I had appointments, work. It was just too full on. And I've learned the hard way in the past that if you've got a busy week, don't bother trading because you can't put your full concentration into it and it's probably going to go tits up. So week 3, 4 and 5 is where the majority of the trade action happened. The yellow circles are my entry points. My green circles are my exit points. I'll just talk quickly through what happened. So week 3 was predominantly bearish on my news. I decided my sentiment, I found a place for my technical entry, which was actually based on rejection of the 200 moving average, which I know some people don't use moving averages, but personally, I like to use them as confirmation. So we had a nice drop, very welcome. I took my profit here. We ranged. I took a buy here at the end of the week. Not an ideal move, but it played out. And I took my profits here in week 3. We ranged again for a bit. I took my next sell at 72.50 because my people know I love 72.50 on the chart. I was lucky with that trade because it went up to about 72.80 and my stop loss is about 30 points, sometimes 35. So I must have been literally 1 point away from it going to stop loss and me making a loss. But luckily it held on strong. Price came back down. I moved my stop loss into profit and that's where it took me out there. This is where things started going a bit wrong. So I took a buy here. Again, not an ideal move, but it was in profit over the weekend. And that's when we had the big, fat, hairy price drop at market open. It slammed past my stop loss. That my stop loss did not help in that situation. It was only a small stop loss, but I ended up losing way more than I wanted to and should have done. Wiped out about a third of the profit that I made in weeks 3 and 4. Um, and this sort of thing doesn't happen all the time. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I'm just putting that down to bad experience, read it off, moved on, didn't cry about it. Come see, come saw, and all that kind of shiz. So week 5 was a range. After that big drop, I kind of really shouldn't be trying to take ranges. Trades in a ranging market after big hefty drops like that. But I did, and it didn't really work out. It was doing okay, but I got taken out in a tiny weeny profit here before price moved up and into November. So that's where we have it. It was a profitable month for me. I'd like to mention though, guys, small lot sizes. I got burnt in September by upping my lot size, so I kept it kind of safe. We're not talking about hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds here, but the fact that it was an improvement on last month and also a profitable month when last month was such a big loss, to me is an improvement and it's progress. So where are we at now? I really feel that 2024 has been a year of learning fundamentals for me, working out my place in the market with my strategy of using fundamentals, then technicals. Yeah, that's the year 2024, and I'm so proud of my progress this year. 2025, however, is the year of execution. And that's where I really hone my strategy by executing my way through the market better than I am now. It's still a bit shoddy. I can be doing better. I'm not aiming for perfection. I just wish to be able to work the process a little bit better, I guess. So that's my plan going forward. Which brings me on to my next point. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's beginning to feel a little bit like Christmas because the shops have got their stuff coming in, the adverts are coming onto the telly, and it's kind of really got me thinking that we're only 6-7 weeks away from market shutdown for Christmas and essentially the end of the year. What does that look like to you? What does your year look like to you? Have you worked it out yet? Have you worked out if you're going to be in a profit, a loss, or if you're going to break even? Let me know. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments or messaging me directly. It'd be really great to know who is working out their sort of yearly profit and loss at the moment and if they're aiming for anything. So this is my plan and my goal, my sort of personal challenge that I've set myself for this month. And that is to break even by the end of this year. So that would be a year 2 break even in trading, which is an excellent achievement. How have I come to this kind of decision and how have I worked it out? So I've added up everything I've spent on trading in 2024, which is a couple of smaller subscriptions at the start of the year, a couple of books, my TradingView subscription every month, and also every penny that I've put into my broker this year. I've then subtracted the withdrawals that I've made from my broker this year, and that's what I'm left with. I'm in a loss of 450 quid, which ain't too bad. Year 1 was obviously it was a joke because it was year 1 and I was in a much heavier loss, more like thousands. So this year has been a vast improvement and I'd like to finish this year at break even. So how am I going to go about that? So I've broken down my £450 financial target and I've divided that up between sort of 6 or 7 weeks. So I know what weekly figure I've got to hit in order to break even. And that's what I'm going to be going for the rest of the year. I focus on process, not outcome and profits. But actually setting myself a little monetary target and a little kind of financial challenge is kind of fun. And it's a nice target to kind of finish off the year. If I don't do it, I ain't going to cry about it. I'm obviously following lots of very influential traders in the game who regularly sort of talk about their beginning story and how for the first 3 years I didn't make a penny and stuff like that. And that gives me a lot of confidence that I'm on the right track at least. If I can break even or finish this year in a small loss, then I ain't doing bad. Um, and as I said, please do share your thoughts with me if you're kind of going for something similar. It'd be really good to get some inspiration for people and their goals. So there we are. Now I'm going to round up the video and finish off soon, but I'm going to do the same as I did in September and give a prediction for what I think is going to happen going forward in November. It would be wrong of me not to mention Trump because he is the topic of the week with the election just happened a couple of days ago. Trump wants to drill for more oil. So more oil on the market, price goes down, right? And I do severely suspect that's going to happen. But he's pro-Israel and he will not be imposing any sanctions on Israel for their continued genocide on Palestine, which is very bad news for humanity. However, how is that going to affect the price of oil? If Israel do attack Iran's oil infrastructure because they haven't got anyone telling them they shouldn't be and they can't, then how is that going to affect oil? Because Iran at the moment are pumping out about, or produce 3 million barrels per day and export, I think it's about 2 million barrels per day out of Iran. But if their oil infrastructure is attacked by Israel and there is no oil coming out of Iran, that should make price go up, right? However, OPEC have spare capacity at the moment. They could easily fill the gap that Iran's supply problems could potentially bring. So that's I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, over the course of November, but I'm going to be watching those two fundamental areas closely. Basically, what's happening in the Middle East after the election, what's Iran going to do to Israel next, because there is another attack imminent. And Iran are promising a more complex attack on Israel. So there is potential for the threat to supply. I'm also going to be watching China and to see what data comes out of China, because again, that could change things at the drop of a hat from bearish into bullish. I'm a bearhead, but I'm quite keen to keep my finger on the pulse, and watching these fundamental factors happen as they happen will really give me some good direction and hopefully be able to continue taking these day trades, shorter term moves out of the market by just having my finger on the pulse and watching what's going on constantly. I hope that all makes sense. Thank you so much to everybody who is watching. And I really hope that you have a successful month, and in whatever endeavor that you're doing at the moment, whether that's trading, a health plan, or just simply trying to hold it together in these really trying times, then I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I'm really looking forward to presenting my next video to you in November. If you did make it to the end of this one, please feel free to drop me some dollar emojis in the comments and know you made it to the end. And peace out. You take care. Look forward to seeing you next month.